tuned in to the FrameZ Show.
Yo, what's good, everybody? It's your boy FrameZ with the FrameZ Show. You know how we do, bringing that flavor to your ear. Hold up, hold up, hold up. Somebody bring me a beer. But I'm in here chilling today with the great, the one, the only Miss Copelana. How are you today?
Hello, I'm doing good. How are you doing?
Doing good. Doing the best I can during we're getting to the end of quarantine, I think. So
Supposedly things sound like they're wrapping up, but we can't really tell. And obviously other parts of the country right now are still in a very bad place. So
for sure, yeah. One thing I've asked a few people lately, and I'll ask you the same thing, is how has the quarantine really affected you as far as like your creative side, or
creatively it's been pretty good actually. So as far as gigging goes, which is more performance, obviously that was a no-go. But for me, it actually opened up a lot of time for me to just be able to focus on writing, catching up on a lot of things that I needed to do, creatively learning a lot that I needed to start the process of learning to be more independent with my creativity and marketing. So that's really, really, really positive for me. I know quarantine hasn't been the most positive for everyone, and there's been losses in some cases as far as jobs and things like that, but as far as creativity and music, it's been overall positive, and I'm thankful for that.
That's good. Something that I told myself when this all started, I was like, okay, I have to stay in the house. Like, it's time for me to kind of like refocus and like and just find my way of things, and just be open about stuff, and I've done so much since this all started, so I can only imagine what everyone else has been doing.
Right. No, it was a nice reset. There's so many personal things journey-wise that I'm working on that this has allowed me to kind of be like, okay, so this is where you're at. You really need to be better at routine. You really need to be better at this and this and this. So it's given me insight on myself a lot. I think a lot of people, this has been a learning journey for individuals as well.
For sure.
But creatively, it definitely showed me how much I'm not doing, and not in that I should guilt myself, but at the same time, how much I really, really need to step up my game in spending more time, because it's what I love to do the most. But when we get into work mode, we're on our Monday through Friday grind, we're not thinking about the little details and all that all the time, because we're focused on the day by day. So it's really allowed me to take a step back, which is good.
That's good. Yeah, it's good. I'm glad. And I won't go too much into it right now, but we did hear some new music from you, and or at least I heard some new music from you, and it was really good. I like where you're going with that. So.
Thank you. Yes. So I will be releasing a new song probably next month. I'm going to assign the date for that really, really soon, but I'm excited that you liked it, and I worked really hard on it. I know I'll probably like it again in like a year, but overall, I'm proud though. I'm proud. And it was really, really, really fun. So the name of the single that I'm going to be releasing is called Lemonhead, which is kind of a weird name, right? But I don't know if you want me to talk about that, or if you just want me to.
Let's not get too far into it just yet, because I do want to talk about the song, but I want to talk about a little bit more about you first.
Sorry, I took it personally for some reason. I was like, oh.
Right. Where are you from?
I'm from here. I'm from Virginia Beach. I was born in Norfolk, but I've lived in Virginia Beach my whole life.
Okay, cool. Yeah. Do you like it here?
Overall, honestly, there's a lot of pros, I feel like, living in Virginia Beach and being so close to Norfolk and Hampton Roads area in general. Right. I really actually do like it. You'll hear a lot of people like, oh, I'm so tired of Virginia Beach, I want to go. Listen, I get like that too. And the only thing is, I am a warm weather person. I love year-round warm weather. I love Florida. I like things more 80 degrees, if you know what I mean. But I think it's pretty cool that we get a little bit of everything here, and we have a pretty long summer still. I like it that we have a community in the arts. We're building that. I feel like that's been growing for a while in Norfolk and in the art district in Virginia Beach towards the ocean front. I think that's really, really cool. And I've been fortunate enough to participate in little things like that. And it kind of makes me feel like proud to be where I am, even though we're so small, because I can tell, I don't know if you know, but it just seems like Virginia Beach is going to blow up, if that
Yeah.
makes sense.
No,
I'm
I've been having like this feeling of like, I mean, the quarantine kind of slowed it down, I think, but
right. Mm-hmm.
everything was, you know, how everything has been happening in the past couple years or so, you know, like, and I've only lived here now for 2 years, so.
Oh, really? Where are you
Yeah,
from?
I'm actually from North Carolina. I'm from a little town called Beaufort. It's way out in the boondocks on the water. It's
Mm-hmm.
it's very similar to here, except this place is like 10 to 20 times bigger. Um,
Really? So
but
like you're saying like the area though is really, it reminds you of it.
yeah, it's definitely it's a fisherman's town, if that makes sense.
Okay,
You know,
that
it's
makes sense. Yeah, with
yeah, like all
mm-hmm.
the seafood and everything. Like it's all of it. You know, it's what I grew up with.
That was something I loved so much about here is that like we could get fresh sea. Well, I'm vegan now, but like back when I ate fish, like because I was a seafood lover.
Right.
But I'm gonna have to hit up oyster mushrooms now, which is fine.
Right.
But and things like that. But I loved seafood, and I loved it that like I actually could go, you know, to whether Hatteras, North Carolina, or like here on the coast and the Bay, and actually get fresh seafood. That's
Right.
awesome because when you think about the center states and things like that, I don't
Yeah.
even. I'm like, ew.
Yeah,
It's
it's all like
not gonna think about it.
frozen
Yeah.
imported seafood that you don't know. Like,
Right, right.
yeah, but I do like it here. It's definitely a home vibe. I feel at home here.
Hmm.
For the most part, people seem pretty welcoming, you know, and pretty nice. And but I think everywhere you have your ones that are, you know, yeah, exactly. Yeah, I didn't say it. You said it.
Yeah, no. I mean, that's the funniest thing is like I haven't got to travel that much. Like I have not been outside of the country, unfortunately.
Right.
Almost, but I haven't before. But I have been to a couple different states, and like it's so funny seeing the difference between like New York and like the South, like
Oh
period,
yeah.
how fast paced it is, and like
Yes.
smell and like but I love it. I love the culture of New York. It's amazing. I just don't know if I could live there permanently. But
Right.
I think it'd be fun to stay for a long time and versus like I love it that in the Hampton Roads area, even though this isn't quite Hampton Roads, like Richmond is so close because you
Right.
get a little bit more of city vibes with that. So that's really, really cool about living here that I
Right.
like. It's only like an hour away and Richmond's always fun. So
Right. Yeah.
that
Well,
too. And then
moving a little bit along musically, you're an amazing musician. I know you play some instruments. You have a very nice voice. I've
too.
had the pleasure of seeing you live quite a few times. So if you haven't, you guys got to check her out when she gets back to performing.
Yeah,
The
hopefully.
quarantine's over. But when did you like start getting into music?
When I was really young, not like into it when I was like 3 or 4, like I didn't start anything then, but my father used to rock me when he would listen to records. So I was just constantly around music. My
Right.
parents actually played a lot of music versus now today. They played a lot of music in the house when I was growing up, which I loved. I was constantly from then on listening to the radio at the time. I always wanted CDs, anything new. You know, I think a lot of conversations I had with friends were about music even at a young age. And
Right.
it was also the super fan time. So everyone was
Right.
obsessed with things like that. And then when I was, I think I took an interest in violin when I was in first grade, but I didn't do anything. But my mom bought me like a little dinky one and we were going to mess with it. And then when it came to fourth, fifth grade, I started chorus because I already loved singing. I would try to sing with any Disney movie, any song, and
Right.
anything, you know, like most kids that love to sing. And in fifth grade, I started taking violin in school. And I just kept that up in middle school. I decided to ditch chorus because you can only pick one elective in middle
Right.
school. I had to
Right.
pick one, and that was so hard to pick between singing and violin. So I told myself, okay, you're gonna try to have to keep singing up on your own because you know, like not that I knew anything, but it's a little more intuitive than violin. Violin, you really need direction.
Right.
Singing as well, but verses. And I decided to do that up through high school, and then I joined chorus again, and I just kept trying to practice my ass off.
Right. Well, I think it paid off very well. So.
Oh, thank you. I try to be intuitive learner the best I can, but at the same time, you always need a little bit of guidance and help. And I'm looking for one day, hopefully, to find a teacher.
Right. I'm sure that could be hard. I've never really had to really think about that or be like, oh, I need a vocal teacher or vocal lessons or
Mm-hmm.
and speaking of that, don't you do a little bit of
I
vocal
do.
lessons too, right?
Yeah, I do at School of Rock. I do a lot of adolescent. I do have some adult clients, but mostly adolescent. So it's really introduction and learning basics and things like that to theory as well as singing. I
Right.
also do a little bit of violin and piano lessons. I am no way, shape, or form classical pianist, but I do teach what I know bases off the theory that I've learned from violin and music in general.
Right.
So I try to stick with the book the best I can because I don't want to misinform anybody, but I also try to help my students understand how to be more intuitive when they're learning and to feel and to be really aware, especially with singing because it is an instrument, but it's our body at the same time and you have to take care of it.
Right. For sure.
I
Yeah.
stress that a lot.
You should, if you want to do that, if that's the route that you want to take, then there's certain steps that you should take to make sure you're taking care of that, right?
Right. It's muscles. It's just like any person who's bodybuilding or training, you have to take precaution to some
Right.
extent and understand how the function works properly so you don't hurt it.
Right.
You
Yeah, for
don't want to
sure.
lose it.
Yeah.
So.
So could you name, let's see, who's your biggest musical influences?
Ooh.
I know it's probably gonna be hard, but maybe, your top two or something.
It's hard because I compartmentalize all of my influences. Like
Right.
I go from production to singing to um, composition to lyricism. So it's like I literally jump all around, but I would have to say I'll just go to like super fan side of me when I was
Right.
growing up. Um, Lady Gaga was one of them completely. Um, it's hard. It's so hard, but vocally and production wise, especially when I'm in a really, really pop mode, because I go through different modes. Like I love all types of music.
Right.
So I don't really stay in one box. And I like the freedom of jumping around. And she was always really ballsy. She
Right.
also very talented. She was trained really well. She also just, gave it her all. And for the majority of her career, and I still feel as a human being, was 100% true. And I
Yes.
really, really liked that. And I feel like you could see that in her creativity and her loyalty with her fans and everything like that. And that like struck a chord with me. I had obsessions with other people as well, like vocally, Beyonce, I loved. Production wise, I've gotten into really trippy, more alternative music.
Right.
I grew up on classic rock, but I've always had a love for contemporary R&B. So it's like I really like everything. Oh, and then I had this jazz period where I was
Oh.
like, oh my God, I just want to learn jazz, which theoretically speaking, music wise, is extremely difficult. So I've been practicing improvising. I can't even talk.
Right.
Um, on the violin and piano and singing too, like scatting and things like that. So it's like I like anything that's challenging and
Right.
fun
Yeah.
and
Oh, yeah,
free.
for sure.
And I do like
Something,
country a little bit.
just a little bit.
There's some songs. I feel bad. That's like the one category that a lot of people are always like, except, but you know what? It's not an except for me. I do like it. There are some amazing country singers and vocalists, and a lot of times they're really good vocally.
Sure.
But I haven't really had a country artist that's like stuck out to me.
Right. Okay. So I'm like super heavy, hip hop guy. Like I love rap, but I love a lot of music, and country is actually not out of the book with me. Like I listen to country music too.
Mm-hmm.
To me, it's very good when I'm going on a trip or something. Like it's good like cruising music sometimes. Like
I believe that. I think that. Or chilling. Like I've had a lot of friends
right,
put it on, like how some countries like pop like country almost,
definitely,
you know?
definitely. Yeah.
When you're chilling outside, like I'm fine with that. But I do have to say old Queen, Shania Twain. Like
Oh,
she
okay.
was I forgot about her. She was it.
Yeah, yeah. She,
Icon.
she had a long run. She was doing her thing for a while.
Mm-hmm. I do remember really liking her when I was a child, even though I didn't know who she was because I didn't listen to that side of the radio on like the hit list type top 100 channels.
Right.
I really did like every song that she always had out. So that is something. But
That's
yeah,
dope.
I was more into pop and contemporary R&B and classic rock, bluesy stuff.
Right.
So
Well, I'll say one of the shows I got to go watch you perform at. Where were we at? Oh man, Chicks Beach. HK on the Bay. Is that right?
oh yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
You were there with the band, and you guys did like all the music that was super popular when I was growing up. As like
Oh
I
yeah.
was through my, like it was the '90s or something.
Yes, it was my 90s cover band that I'm in. I actually love 90s music. I had this period. See, this is the thing. I have like eras, and I think everybody does, but
Right,
especially if you're a musician, you like know exactly when and where. And there was this period where I was obsessed. Like I had a lot of these 90s playlist that I was listening to.
right,
And that's actually what got me really interested in doing something like that. And someone came up to me and, there was like, there's these other tribute bands. We should do a 90s one. And I was like, hell yeah, that's my
yeah,
fucking decade, besides 2000s as well.
right,
But I was like, that shit is so fun, so nostalgic.
yeah.
And I had to.
I remember being there that night and I didn't know what to expect, and I went with big shout out to Laurel and Randy from MithScene.
Miss.
Um, they had invited me to come out, and I didn't really know what to expect, and I got there, and everybody was like in their '90s clothes and stuff, and when I got in and you guys were like jamming out, I was like, holy crap, I know all these songs, I know the words and everything, like, so it was
I
just
had a
amazing,
good time. I really do. That's what I want from that type of band and performance. I just want people to have fun and let
Right,
loose and just be able to chill and be reminded of good times, whether it was sitting back and listening to it on the radio or kicking back with your friends in the old days, listen to it. So
right,
that's what I like from that band. I also love the fashion from the 90s. Like I was very obsessed with fashion from the 90s.
right,
And it's so fun to be able to be like, oh, I'm just get to wear my regular clothes to my cover band.
right, yeah. Oh, yeah, that's pretty awesome. It was definitely a good time to be alive, I guess you'd say.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Um,
It was very big time in pop culture in the
yeah,
90s.
no, for sure. Yeah. Moving on from there, I know some of the, I think the next show I got to see you at was we were at Bodfest.
Oh
And
yeah. Mhm.
yeah, and you had a really, really nice performance there. I thought you did amazing there. Unfortunately,
Thank
I didn't get to get like right front row and scream your name, but I had a table that we were running that night. So, but
No, that's awesome though that you guys had a table. I know there was a lot of amazing vendors there that night.
yeah,
And I think it's really, really cool that you were a part of that as well. I was really happy to be a part of it. I know that there was a little issue with like having the volumes and stuff like that. And my background singers worked so hard on getting their
right,
and I want to shout out to them again. You guys did so good. And no matter what happened, like you guys did amazing and thank you for being there.
yeah, definitely. I thought you guys sounded great.
Oh, thanks.
Especially from where I was kind of in the back compared to the stage. But I thought it was great. I got to see you guys play, and always impressive. I'm always being impressed by, I don't like to say we're talking to you, so I have been very impressed by you, but I've been impressed by a lot of people in the area, with musicians and stuff. So
Well, I appreciate that. Like, I am always striving. I think I made a post about this like a while back. Like, it was some dumb picture, and I was like, this year I dedicate to honing my craft because not only it's one thing to be good at something, but I really, really want to know what I'm doing. I
right,
want to be confident in it. And I also want to be prepared for anything. When you perform, there's so many factors and variables that can change it. And I want to be able to, be confident in what I did afterwards.
right,
And that's kind of what I've learned the past year through performing in these different groups and individually as well. And collaborating is like, you have to really be mentally ready to say, that's the way it went and drop it, but also be proud of what you did.
right,
And I'm also trying to master so obviously I sing in public and that's not completely what I mean, but I'm trying to master singing in public when things don't always go the way If
Right.
that makes sense, because
No,
there's
yeah,
different
completely.
registers and stuff. So yeah,
Yeah,
you have to plan kind of, but practice
right,
almost for things to always go wrong. It's really, really weird. So
right. Yeah, I mean, because you got to be ready for, whatever, right? Because you never know what to expect. And I mean, I can only imagine how challenging that is to like really master it, like you said, to get into that. Um,
I'm pretty
well,
good at hiding like a little bit better now. My face expressions, like I do have a bad habit of still saying sorry in the mic.
yeah,
And I don't think I did that night, so I was really, really happy. Even when a performance goes well, I have a issue with that, and people always call me out for it. But I'm getting better, like about face expressions and things like that, keeping it positive and
right,
like keeping the energy going. I just really need to get better at like keeping my voice steady when my mic isn't quite correctly at the right volume, if that makes
gotcha,
sense. Like I need to
gotcha.
get better at facilitating that. I was listening to some audio from that night and I was like, oh man, I really, really should have positioned myself a certain way, but you're thinking about so much in the moment.
Right, yeah. And your adrenaline's going, and
Yeah.
there's so many people, and you're just excited, and then yeah, I'm sure
Mhm.
there's some
I have a good
nervousness in
time.
there.
But
Do,
then you
do you,
want to connect with the audience.
right, right. Do you still, or I'm sure at some point you did, do you get nervous at all when you're going on to perform, get the butterflies going,
Always.
yeah,
I've learned to manage it a lot better though since I was younger.
right,
I've had several performances when I was younger that, I mean, I got so nervous at this one competition and it was judged.
right,
And let's just say the judges were not nice because they were looking for it to be really dramatic. You know, when you watch like American Idol, when someone doesn't do good and everyone else did pretty good, they're like gonna
right,
hone in on that person that didn't do good.
right.
Okay, so it was like that.
Oh,
And if you do, think that I'm, good and stuff like that, you would be shocked with the way they were like coming at me. One was like, oh, should you let her go to the next level or the next, part of the competition? And she was like, I have nothing to say.
oh
Like
man.
they were just like, yeah, no, they're so dramatic. And then they did like a crowd vote to bring me back. It was traumatizing, honestly.
Oh, goodness.
But I had to learn through those experiences, like, okay, manage your breath, try to control, still breathe. It came to vocal technique, honestly, that kind of saved me in
Right,
learning to manage how to sing when I am so nervous. And honestly, getting into the moment is so much more important, and it makes it organic and authentic when you're performing, and it naturally takes away the nerves. So as long as you can get into the performance, that's when I found my serenity and my connecting with the audience and my
awesome.
fun in
Yeah.
singing. So
Well, it's probably a really good thing that you went through that experience, so
mm,
that you got better from it, like
yeah,
I
it broke me.
think
It
it's
broke me
awesome.
for a
Yeah,
while.
I'm sure. Oh, I'm sure. Yeah. Um, but so something else I did want to talk to you about was you were involved with the video from Laura Wilson, "Curious,"
Mhm.
which was I love that video. I love the song, and the video
This is
was super hot. It was super,
Thank you.
what is Laurel Toast? Risque or something? I don't know. Yeah,
Mhm. It was
but
very, very risque, but I loved everything that I wore. It was all my real clothes.
yeah, oh, dope. Yeah. So how did what was the process of doing that? Like I think you played some keys in there and stuff, and like,
I did. Yeah. Oh yeah, no, that was so nice of her to um sorry, made me think of something. I was like, we're working on a little something right now, actually.
oh, uh-oh, uh-oh.
I'm not saying anything else, but that's it.
All right, all right.
That's up to Laurel, but yeah, no, I was very fortunate to get to play keys on it, and she liked it. I was really surprised because, like, when it's your own song, and I completely understand from her standpoint, it's your baby. So
Right,
if you're inviting someone, that's a really big honor because that means you trust them musically and sonically to be cohesive with your vision. You
right,
know.
right.
And so that meant a lot, and I had a lot of fun writing on it. I'm happy that she liked all of the parts, and she was telling me like, oh my god, this added so much, and I'm like, good, like I'm so
Right,
glad, because if there's anything you don't like, I'll change it. That's my
right,
thing, is although I want my creative freedom, if it's not my work, I give full rights to the creator to tell me like, no, You know what I mean? I'm not going to be mad. I can take the constructive criticism because in the end, it's their song.
Right. Yeah.
But it was super fun, and the video was fun. I honestly was like dying the whole time because I was so hungry, and like we had food there. They were not like it wasn't like that. Like we had all day and snacks and stuff. But you know, as a female, I'm trying not to get bloated during this thing.
Right.
So like, I'm waiting to eat at like the end and snacking a little bit. And Laura's like, "Eat, girl." Like I'm eating, and I'm like, "I'm so glad you are," but I'm like, I'm literally going to, because I have really bad, like, this is weird, but I have really bad bloating. So like, I will like not look good on camera, and camera shows everything. And I'm pretty comfortable with my body the way it is, like body positivity. But you know, at the same time, for that moment in that time slot of the video, I want to make sure that I look good, because this is it's not even my song, it's hers. So I was like dying at the end of the night, like Randy's like, let's get this girl some food, like she's hungry, like he knows me, he knows that I am very much about food. So I was like energetically having a great time though. All of the shots were really, really fun. I think the last one we shot was like at 7:00 in the morning, and we were all exhausted. The videographers were exhausted. Shout out to them, they did awesome. Tim and Stroke. And so it was fun, but I'm really proud that we were able to get it done in like 36 hours. Because they rented this Airbnb that's amazing looking, that's local actually, and they were like, we have 3 days, and I was like, okay, let's do it. And it was really, really, really cool. And I think even after the outside scene, that was all really outside. None of that was fake. Like nothing in the outside scene was fake. It was all actually set up. The lighting was real, the bed was real, like the little curtains were real and everything like that. The tree, like all of that was real, which is why I think that part looks really, really, really cool. But it was almost like a humid night, and it was kind of chilly. It wasn't really cold, but it was kind of chilly. And that moist air, my lungs, literally when we went inside, I was like, like I was like catching something, like my lungs or whatever. I was like, in between each shot, we were like resting, like I'm in a coffin, like. But it was super cool. It was really, really cool.
Well, you both looked amazing in that video, and this song called "Curious" definitely has had me curious, about, and I'm sure had everyone that watched it felt the same way. So I think you both did a really good job. So.
It was also a good learning experience because I had never been on any type of film set really before like that. So I was excited to have the opportunity to say, okay, I'm going to get this experience now and see what it's like and see what it takes. Because, when it comes to my own videography in the future, I want to be able to give it my all on my stuff too. So it was a really nice challenge. So I thank her again for incorporating me for that as well.
That's awesome. Yes. Well, moving back into, we brought it up in the beginning, Lemonhead. Let's where did that name come from?
The name Lemonhead, okay, I know it's weird, but the candy?
Yes.
Okay, so it's off of the candy, and it sounds almost like, I don't know if it sounds sexual to you. It kind of sounds sexual to me, but it's really not specifically that. But it's actually about how, okay, so let me do a little comparison. So Lemonheads, the candies are sweet and sour, right?
Right.
So toxicity is as well, even though it's completely negative and no one wants toxicity in their life, there's an addictive side of it that's almost like the sweet side, and then there's the sour, it's no good for you. And I've been personally through some really bad toxic relationships, even if it was just friendships and vice versa, as well as intimate relationships. And that song was pretty much written at a time where I was coming out of that. I was still in some toxicity at the time. I actually had a really, really crazy roommate, and I was coming out of a crazy process of understanding toxicity. I remember like 3 years ago, no one was really having a conversation about that word.
Right.
You know what I mean? Until mental health was like, we need to talk about this. So I started to understand the patterns of toxicity, and I was writing literally about the pattern and starting to realize like, oh, this is toxic. Oh, I've seen this pattern before. Oh, but I like it. Oh, but I kind of want to continue this relationship type deal, but it's like, ooh, but I remember this isn't good. So it's like, it's kind of that tugging and pulling of, oh, this isn't good, but I want it. But then when you say that it's bad, typically if you address something like that, the other person kind of is defensive. So then it's talking about that as well. And it's really just talking about the intertwining of two people going through this toxic bond. But it's done in a very weird, glassy kind of pop trippy way. I don't know.
No. Now that you explained it, yeah, I can kind of, you know, hear a little bit. I understand it a little better, I guess now. You kind of explained it like that.
Thanks. Yeah, I can't wait till like it's out because I really want to do like a full lyric like read through. You know how like Genius will do like sit down and talk about the lyrics. Like I really, really, really want to do something like that because for me it's storytelling, and I personally love hearing artists talk about their lyricism and the reasons why. Even if like I think I watched Doja Cat one time and she was just like, "Oh, I just said it because I thought it was cute," and I'm like, even if it's that, like I don't care. But if there's a deeper meaning, that's also really cool and fun and relatable usually. So yeah, I'm just excited. I'm excited. This is like a new chapter in my life right now, and this is kind of the start of it, and I'm just ready to keep pumping out music like you know, like music babies.
I'm glad I was here to, you know, be in the beginning and bring the start of the music babies, right?
Yes, thank you so much. And if I'm yelling, please tell me. I try to make sure that I project when I talk. It's a teacher thing. I learned it through different customer service jobs and teaching and stuff. And now I was like, am I shouting?
Right. No, you're good. Well, I think we're getting close to the end of this. I haven't got an update yet from Zoom, but if we are going into, where can everybody find you at? I know you're on social media.
So I have a Facebook, Copelana, as well as on Instagram, I'm Copelana.Copelana. Someone took Copelana a long time ago. I gotta check and see if that username is free again because I was like, who? Because basically that comes from my last name. So I just changed like one. It was a nickname from someone back in the day. So like, well, actually my best friend. So as well as I'm actually, so I do not have a Twitter, but I'm about to make one. I'm a grandma, okay? So I don't have a lot of social media, but that's what I'm currently realizing as an artist, you kind of have to. I will be making a Twitter soon, but if you want to listen to any of my music, it's available on all streaming platforms, and my link is on my Instagram page, that Copelana.Copelana. So there should be a My URLs link, and you can have access to that. I'm currently catching up my YouTube channel as well, trying to get that ready. It ain't ready yet, but I'm getting it ready. So that way, yeah, that way when I'm posting, you know, I can just pop it all out and everything. You know, there's a lot of management and preparation into almost just getting the social media site ready before you can use it. So yeah, I'm trying.
You're out there and you're you know, progressing, at least for social media wise. You know, it's all about, you know, staying connected with the people that your fans and interactions and things like that, right? You know, so I think that at least understanding that is the first step, I guess, to progressing, right?
Right, definitely. And I can't wait till I become like, this feels comfortable because you're right there. And like, I love talking to people, but I have to get into that idea and that feeling when I go to do more live things, or when I go to do more, not live in person, but live online, as well as like live streaming, as well as just doing videos for YouTube and things like that. I want to become more personable with people because I'm a really personal person. I like to just talk to people and be real and, you know, share my process or share what I'm writing. And I've kind of held it all in because a part of it I was scared, and a part of it I was like, well, you know, nothing's ready, so I can't wait till I get everything up to date so that way I can just show everybody who I am musically and as a person.
Yeah, for sure. Speaking on that just a little bit, from the first time I met you, I thought you were a very, personable person, and you seem really
Oh,
nice and stuff. And I know we've had a lot of, quick interactions and meetings and stuff. And I'm really glad that we finally, the timing made sense and we were able to do this. And, and it worked. It worked for both of us, And this is only the first time because quarantine is over. We'll actually have to, get in the studio and do something.
yes. Oh my gosh. Yes, that would be amazing. I would love to. I almost feel like I was actually telling my boyfriend this last night. I was like, you know, I don't talk to a lot of people really just about my music. I was like, obviously I
Right.
talk to Laurel or people that I'm collaborating with, like my friend Elijah or my friend Scotty. Shout out to J'adore Jure on Instagram and Scotty Holiday. They have music. Check it out.
Right.
But, unless I'm talking to my friends, very minuscule. I don't really talk about it that much, and I can't wait to just become more transparent and an open book in those
Right.
things. And thank you for thinking I'm personable. I
Yeah.
really try to come off as a nice person. I think being kind is really important, especially in this day and age. We're in a really crazy time right now.
Yes.
And we really need to build each other up as a community, as the United States, as the world in general. It's
Right.
really
Right.
crucial, especially with everything going on politically and not.
Right.
So
Yeah.
yeah, it's a lot. It's a lot. And I just want to help spread positivity and vibrate higher myself as a human being as well.
That's very awesome. I love it. I love it. Well, wrapping things up, I'm really glad we got to do this. Your song is amazing. You guys make sure to stay tuned in for here at the end. We will have a little sneak peek, for the people. And other than that, I need everybody to make sure they go and follow Miss Copelana on Instagram, on Facebook, and YouTube. Go find her everywhere. Go stream her music. It's everywhere. And anytime you need something, let me know if there's anything I can do. I'll do what I can to help.
Oh, thank you so much for your support. That means a lot. And vice versa. Hey, support
Yeah,
local guys. Tune into the
sure.
FrameZ Show for real.
Appreciate it. Yeah.
Hmm.
So other than that, do you want to give any quick last shout outs? I always ask and then I hate asking because when you start doing shout outs, you forget somebody and then
I know. I was already just thinking about that when I named my friends Scotty Holiday and Elijah Georgia. I was like, okay, I do not want to forget anybody. Evan Hanna, he is going to be having a mini concert, which I might be in a little bit virtually for the Zyders Theater on the I don't know actually. I don't know the date yet.
right.
But it's going to be this month, so stay tuned. Check his page out. It's Evan Hanna Instagram. Hanna on Instagram. He's got amazing music as well. I've collaborated with him. He's one of my best friends as well from growing up. I have a lot of musical friends, which is pretty great.
Right.
And ooh, shout out to Ali Art and Heather Hunter. They have done the art and photography for the main visual I will be releasing with the song for Lemonhead when I release it.
Nice.
It's not a music video, but it will be a visual video. So that's exciting too. Shout out to them. Oh, I hope I didn't forget anybody. If I did, I love you. I'm sorry. I tried.
Well, it's been great. Shout out to everybody. How about that?
Yeah.
Shout out to everybody out here that's actually doing something. Well, even if you're not, I guess. Shout out to you too. Just being positive. People that are sending out the positive vibes that Miss Copelana likes to give off, and we hope that nothing but positivity for you. And like I said, anytime you need something, don't hesitate to reach out.
Thank you so much. I appreciate that.
All right. Well, until next time, we'll be here.
All right. Bye. Bye,
Peace.
guys.